All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. We're here today, brand new episode on the Cabral concept. We're going over the most important time to test your cortisol, which is a stress hormone that is normally elevated at a normal level during the morning hours. It helps to shut down our melatonin production. If it doesn't do that, we're going to be groggy in the morning. We're going to be wanting to reach for caffeine. We're going to feel kind of like a walking zombie. But if cortisol is functioning properly, as I'm going to show you, it wakes us up with abundant energy. We feel great. We feel strong. We work on a natural anti-inflammatory rhythm. And then in the evening, it starts to drop down. So what I want to do, this is a little graph created by Equalife. I want to share this with you right now. We'll take a look at it. And what it's going to share with you and show you is that within this normal rhythm, this normal cycle during the day, between 6 and 8 a.m., we have peak levels of cortisol. So you're going to see between here, normal levels will be between a 6 and a 9. That's that green zone. So if you're watching this on video, of course, you can see this. If not, I'm going to explain it all to you. But essentially, you want your cortisol levels, the highest they're going to be between 6 and 9 in the morning. That naturally wakes you up, gives you natural energy, and you don't need to reach for all that caffeine. You don't feel groggy, no brain fog, etc. All right, so now as we move through the day, what do we have? All right, right around noon, we're going to do another sample before lunch. You can do that. This is a separate test. I'll explain that to you. And your levels are going to be a little bit lower. They're going to be dramatically lower. And the reason is that your cortisol is already starting to fall. It's not too low. You still have energy, but lower. All right. Then we take another sample before dinner, somewhere around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, maybe 7 o'clock at the latest at night. We want our sample again to start to go lower. But here's the issue. A lot of people have totally normal, upon waking cortisol, normal lunchtime cortisol, normal evening cortisol, but their cortisol before bed is elevated. And that elevation leads to not enabling them to do a few things. Turn on melatonin production, a very powerful antiviral, very powerful immune-based, we'll call it a hormone. It's powerful as a natural antidepressant. It works with serotonin. It begins to shut down cortisol. It helps with anti-cancer as a hormone itself. Really strong, really powerful. And it enables you to get into a nice, great state of deep sleep, which begins to restore the body. So what I want to do now is I want to show you this graph again. High in the morning, starts to come down through the day and drop at bedtime so that there's no more stress hormones, very, very little production. I'll show you the level you should be. And then what it does is it actually enables melatonin to take over because they work in an inverse relationship. Okay. So what is the best time to then test cortisol? Well, we have to understand that all blood work is typically taken between 8 and 10 in the morning. That is the best time to look at your overall hormone levels, thyroid, cholesterol, and much more. So really, all blood work you do with your PCP or on your own should be done in the morning. And they will test cortisol oftentimes, not always, but they'll test cortisol as part of your annual panel. Like I said, though, most people's morning cortisol is perfectly fine. So they'll say your cortisol looks perfectly fine. And the range is so big, you won't even get the functional medicine range. They'll just say, oh, it's within range, just like everything, right? Even if your vitamin D is at 31, they still say you're in range, even though the range is 30 to 80. So, it's kind of crazy to say that that's optimal. It's not optimal. It just means it's within range. That's why we want to do more than just blood testing. Blood testing you should do annually. If you have an imbalance, a disease of the body, you want to run it twice a year. But you want to go beyond that with, of course, at-home functional medicine lab testing. So here's the thing. There will be no blood work wherever you're going to run. You're never going to run it before bed. Like that's just not, any lab's going to be open. It's just not going to happen. So the best way to check your cortisol is with a simple saliva tube. That's it. So all you do is spit into a little tube of saliva. I've got a bedtime cortisol right here. This is all you do. You open this little package. You're going to register your lab with the orange card. And you just spit into this little plastic tube of saliva. That's it. Fill it up halfway, ship it back to the lab. It comes with a prepaid mailer in the US, and that's it. You get your results back in about 3 weeks. Why does that matter? It matters for this. If you're someone that doesn't feel like you're recovering well enough, you're aging faster, you're waking through the night, you can't fall asleep very well, your mind is racing, you're not getting good deep sleep on your Oura Ring or Whoop strap or Apple Watch or Garmin or any of these things, you need to know why. And if it's cortisol, okay, we want to work on certain lifestyle factors. We want to work on eliminating blue light. We want to use the 3-2-1 sleep formula that I've given you before on previous podcasts. We also may use something like a sleep help support or a liquid melatonin, which is non-groggy. You're not going to wake up groggy in the morning. Or we might use some magnesium and some adrenal soothe, right? We'll see what works best for you. Typically, if it's high cortisol, we're going to use adrenal soothe, and we'll probably use a little liquid melatonin. And it's going to work great. It's going to work really well for you if we have that elevated cortisol. So remember, every imbalance always has a reason why. So you may not be able to sleep because of low levels of magnesium, low levels of serotonin, low levels of melatonin, high levels of cortisol, and just off the top of my head, there are many other reasons. High levels of blue light, meaning like you're not reducing blue light. So there's multiple reasons, but remember, there's never more than 8 to 10 reasons, 8 to 12 reasons maximum as to why the body's imbalanced. So if you're not sleeping well, if you're not getting good quality sleep on your sleep tracker, see if it is elevated cortisol. It is the number one time to test for cortisol. If you have low thyroid, you want to know if you have elevated cortisol. If you have estrogen dominance, you want to know if you have elevated cortisol at night. Because all of these things prevent you from doing what? Being a diurnal being, right? A human that is on during the light hours and off during the dark hours, right? You want your cortisol to come down at night. It's okay, not if it's super elevated in the morning, but it's okay to have good, strong cortisol in the morning during the day, but you need it to turn off at night. If not, it's going to burn your body out. You're going to start to age at a much faster rate, poor sleep, poor recovery, leading to injuries, leading to inflammation, leading to dis-ease of the body. So you can run a bedtime cortisol test with any Integrative Health Practitioner, level 2. You can go to integrativehealthpractitioner.org, click on the Practitioners tab, find a great level 2 Integrative Health Practitioner, or you can work with myself and my team. And this is a lab that I'll be talking about tomorrow, is just debuting. It's always been part of our main stress metabolism test, but we wanted to get people a very inexpensive lab that they can run before bed, that it's just one marker, one tube of saliva, and you're going to be able to figure this out for both children and adults. And you can find that by going to StephenCabral.com. Well, just go to StephenCabral.com. You'll see under the lab testing that you'll be able to get this lab. Or if you want to head on over to Equilife, it's always just StephenCabral.com/Equilife, EQUILIFE, or StephenCabral.com/shop. They'll take you to the same place. That's our virtual functional medicine-based practice. I want you to be able to get your hands on this lab. Every single month, at least during its debut, probably for 2 to 3 months, we're going to give away 100 every single month at StephenCabral.com. You can just look under our free labs button, and that is because it is my mission to get these at-home lab tests into people's hands if they've never used functional medicine testing before. So if you've never run a bedtime cortisol, it's amazing. Like if your levels are optimal and you still can't sleep, it's not a cortisol issue. So now you know, okay, I don't need to work on cortisol as much. Let me work on rebalancing my magnesium. Let me work on rebalancing my overall nervous system and stress. Let me work on wearing blue light blockers and doing less screen time right before bed. So you can do other things, and lab testing takes all the guesswork out of it. So to see if there are any labs left after listening to this show, you can at StephenCabral.com. You can see that under our free labs program. 100 available per lab test, and that's a service that I love to be able to provide. First time lab clients only, but maybe it's the right fit for you. And then if not, either way, now you know whether you're working with your local naturopathic doctor, your integrative health practitioner, what you can do to see why you might not be getting the deep sleep, the recovery, you feel like you're aging too fast, any one of those things. Even elevated blood sugar level overnight can be from elevated cortisol. It's actually one of the number one reasons why blood sugar is elevated overnight is elevated cortisol, because cortisol keeps that sugar coming into the bloodstream. It keeps you breaking down more stored glycogen to keep glucose levels high if you're in a chronic state of stress. Every single lab as well with us comes with a full plan to help you rebalance the body. This is what it's all about: precision-based natural health precision, personalized based plans for you. Check it all out at stevencabral.com. And of course, if you have any questions, please leave them below. We'd love to answer your questions and help in any way that we can. That's what this is all about. Helping everybody, right? Helping everybody with what they need, personalizing it to a greater degree, but just making sure that you're not left out. Because I know I was left out when it came to getting healthy. When I was younger, I want to make sure that nobody feels left out and that with Equal Life, we are all getting better together every single day. We're getting better together. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate you. For any show notes from today or a direct link to the bedtime cortisol test, head on over to stevencabral.com/2967. All right, take care. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.